Hey Aries, how's it going? My name's Alex. The Oracle and I might have something insightful for you today. Now, there's this old saying about drapes blowing in the breeze, and that's the image I got for you before I turn on the camera. I just saw drapes blowing in the breeze. I was wondering if anything else was going to show up or if it was going to change, and nope, just some light drapes blowing in the breeze by an open window. And I immediately thought of that old saying that you can't necessarily prove the existence of the wind. You can't see the wind, but you can see its activity. This is an analogy used for a lot of things. Like, sometimes you can't prove something exists, but you can see how it affects everything around it, and therefore you can infer its existence. For example, that's how some planets in our solar system were found, like the outer planets, like Neptune and Uranus and Pluto, were found through inferring that there ought to be planets there because of the way gravity behaves in those areas of space. And these astronomers were correct in their inference. And you can also use it to infer the existence of things like conspiracies and stuff like that, where you can't prove that one exists, but you can clearly see the effects of it in society and culture and so on. There's all sorts of things that you can infer exist by looking at its effects. It's sort of like that saying, you can judge a tree by the fruit it bears. And maybe there's something about having knowledge of something that other people don't know about or believe exists, that you have a faith in something that others don't or might think is silly, but to you, it's as obvious as wind blowing the drapes. It's as obvious as gravity. There are some things that we experience in life that are made known to us that maybe other people haven't experienced, and that's, it can be difficult, because if you don't know anyone else who has experienced this thing or has researched or come to understand what you understand about it, it can feel kind of lonely, or it can feel kind of like these people are missing the boat or missing the point. But you can give them that analogy and then just be done talking about it. You can't force them to believe in anything that they don't believe in or what have you. But as long as you feel okay with it and you just take solace in that analogy, that you can infer the existence of something by its effects, it's a perfectly viable analogy to end a great many conversation. And then when I pulled your I Ching hexagram, I got hexagram 25, Wu Wang, without falsehood, and no changing lines. So this is just that innocence and integrity and truthfulness and sincerity. It's without falsehood. This thing that you know. It's a reality. And no matter how a situation changes, the truth remains. Situations can change and superficial aspects of reality can change, but fundamental realities never change. The truth is the truth. It's not subjective, it's not mutable, it's not changeable. If it were these things, it would not be the truth. The truth is an eternal, permanent fact. And when we have that as the foundation of our endeavor, success is guaranteed. If not worldly material success, spiritual success is certainly guaranteed, when truth is the foundation of whatever endeavor we have. And if we step forward in falsehood or without a foundation of truthfulness because we think it will be more expedient, we think it will be easier, less stressful, have a bigger payoff, we run the risk of getting into a lot of trouble. It's easier to tell the truth than it is to lie in the long term. We can tell little white lies in the short term and they benefit us, but in the long term, you have to remember what lies you made up and to whom you told them. And that gets very, very difficult the more you lie, and you will eventually get caught. Someone will say, that's not what you told me 2 years ago when we were having this conversation. And then you're like, oh shit, I lied and I forgot what I lied about. But if you tell the truth, you don't have to memorize anything. It's the truth. It's always there. You don't have to memorize the truth. It's the truth. So as long as you speak from the truth, you never have to memorize anything. You never get caught in a scandal. You never get caught up in anything. When truth is your foundation, life is a hell of a lot easier. You know, in this situation that you're in, approaching it like with the mentality of a child, a young child, someone who is innocent, is open-minded, just has that wonder, that sense of wonder, and having no preconceived ideas, no preconceived notions about anything, no dogmatic beliefs in anything, just an air of truthfulness and open-mindedness. And that helps you to live in harmony with nature. And this is a hexagram of living in harmony with nature. We have the two elements that make up this hexagram are heaven above and thunder below. And that is thunder is the sound of heaven. It's like the will of heaven, the announcements of heaven, being in accord with heaven. When rolling thunder, that is the vibration of heaven coming from above and ordering your life, and it's a firmness. And so you have this firmness within yourself. That's thunder, is the inner trigram, and heaven is the outer trigram. So you have this inner thunder, this sort of heavenly mandate that you're living in harmony with nature and with divine law, because that you are realizing, or have realized, or maybe you've always known, that living in harmony with divine law, natural law, is the way to be. It is so much better than living by contrived laws and by theories. Man's laws can be broken or rendered irrelevant, and there's little to no consequence except from police and government, right? Man's laws don't really mean much. Man's theories, scientific theories, spiritual theories, again, they don't mean much. They can easily be thwarted and proven to be false. So living by man's laws and theories is not the best way to live. Of course, we live by a lot of these things because we are socially pressured into doing so, and we have to, otherwise there are severe legal and economic consequences for breaching some of these things. But my point is that there are natural laws that we can live by. Like, there's this concept of biomimicry, where we live in a way that is observed in nature. We see how a bumblebee collects honey, and we can apply that to the way we live. We see how water flows down a waterfall and how it slowly erodes a rock, and we can apply that, that concept that the weak overcomes the strong. You have water that can erode stone, that can carve valleys through mountains, right? So you can apply gentleness to a firm situation, and you can win through the passage of time. There's all sorts of analogies and examples like this in the world, in our reality. When we observe divine law and natural law and we live by it, life is much more successful, life is much easier, the truth comes out much easier. It's just a superior way to live, and unfortunately, most people don't live that way because, they don't observe nature. They don't see that it's better. They're not interested in learning how to live like this because they haven't been exposed to too much natural phenomena, I suppose. But here, sitting with that open-mindedness of a child and just observing natural things might be really, really beneficial to you. Or maybe you're already an expert at that sort of thing and you need to, maybe, I don't know, I just got the idea of write a book about it or vlog about it or something like that, where you can help others to see natural phenomena and maybe have a little biomimicry or permaculture in their own lives, maybe help people change their attitudes and create more harmony in the natural world and inspire more people to live by divine natural laws, because you are, and it's apparently working out for you. So I'm going to spin a coin and develop this reading for you. It's going to land on one of these 24 symbols here, whichever the oracle wants us to focus on. And I'll pull some cards for you. So what does Aries need to know? Oh, don't fall off. Ooh, that was close. Ooh, interesting. The Sorcerer. It's like a little lightning bolt. Oh, this will be an interesting one. By the way, when I was pulling your hexagram, I got the taste of whiskey in my mouth. And it's not an aftertaste, don't worry, I haven't had a drink since Christmas. And I drank vodka on Christmas. And it was very startling. It came out of nowhere, and it was distinct Jack Daniel's whiskey. There was no mistaking it. And it came out of nowhere, and I don't understand it. So maybe got some friends from Tennessee or Kansas or Kentucky watching. I don't know what it means. Something about whiskey. In goes the liquor, out comes the truth, right? If we're talking about without falsehood, sometimes a little liquor helps prevent falsehood. But anyway, the Sorcerer here, the symbol I use is a little lightning bolt. Now the Sorcerer is similar to a magus, a magician, except the Sorcerer is more interested in material benefits and material things, like development of technologies, industrialism, selfish gains through the use of occultism, and things like that. The Sorcerer is a little bit, it's like the dark side of the magus, the dark side of the magician. And we've had a great many sorcerers in our world for a few centuries, 3 centuries or so, with the onset of industrialism and modern science. Especially today, we have many, many sorcerers, technology corporations and so on, weapons developers and, computer scientists, oh boy. It's always funny when I study computer science, and the programs that run in the background that do all the background functions are called daemons. The mouse pointer is called a cursor, which is what you call the Ouija board thing that lets you spell out words, the thing that you and your friends touch that's like moving, the ghost is moving it or whatever, that thing's called a cursor. There are many, many strange words like this in the realm of computer science that makes you wonder sometimes who these computer scientists were and what they were really doing. That's why I chose the lightning bolt. When I think of modern electrical technologies, I think of some strange individuals with some strange beliefs who may have a strange agenda for the world. Like, we put a lot of faith in modern political systems like democracy. We all love to talk about the virtues of democracy and how it's the most important thing in the world. However, for those of you who are around in 1968 or can study a history book, think, what was the most important thing that happened in 1968? Democratically electing a president, Richard Nixon in this case, right? Exercising your right to vote. That's the most important thing in the West, correct? It's the most powerful thing anyone can do is elect a president. But what about the introduction of the silicon wafer microchip onto the open market? What had a more profound effect on the world? 4 years of, I'm not a crook, or nearly 60 years of the silicon wafer microchip? Which of these two things fundamentally transformed our society? And think, one of those things we voted for, the other we did not. It was forced on us without our consent, without our permission, and now these little microchips are everywhere. Modern civilization would not exist without it. Modern commerce would not exist without it. Communications would not exist without it. Yet none of us voted for it. Just a handful of sorcerers on Silicon Valley, or hidden deep within the military-industrial complex, decided, you know what, let's just change the world the way we want to change it. That's that sorcerer energy that I'm talking about. That's what this means. That symbol here means to me, the sorcerer. So maybe you're seeing this truthfully, without falsehood. Maybe you're seeing some sort of sorceress energy or entity, person. Maybe it's yourself. And these sorts of ideas, you know, these people who think they ought to have power over others because it's their divine right. You know, they believe they're following natural law, and maybe in their own way they are. You know, overcoming problems can be good for people. So maybe the problem is a good thing. Overcoming evil can be good for a culture. So maybe we should be grateful to those evil people who give us these problems to overcome. Just a thought. Okay, we've got the Queen of Swords in the reverse. So yeah, there could be someone here who's twisting the truth, who has some sort of plan, and you might have discovered this plan, caught them by surprise, and now they're trying to catch themselves up. Maybe you caught someone lying over time, and they slipped up finally, and you're like, wait a second, you know, the alarm bells start going off. Wait, this person's lying to me about something. And now you're now at this stage like, well, what do I do about this? Like, I know this person's a liar now. This person is a Queen of Swords in reverse, and they're trying to defend their lies, and it's just not working against you because you saw through it. It's like they screwed up. It's too late to convince you of something, and they might be desperately trying to convince you that like, no, it's not so bad. Trust me. You know, trying to regain your trust or re-persuade you of this lie they told, or try to get you to see their side of the story. And you should see their side of the story. See it truthfully. You should be truthful and have that open-mindedness and innocence of a child. That unbiased mentality is going to be extremely important for you right now in dealing with this person. Just, you know, watch out. Like, if this person is untrustworthy, you know, a mask might have fallen off here. Like, the Queen of Swords in reverse just makes me think of a mask falling off. It makes me think of someone who's just caught red-handed, basically. And they might have a version of the truth on their side, which is maybe why they were so successful for so long in lying to people, because every good lie has a large measure of the truth in it. That's how you get lots of people to believe in something that you're saying, because a lot of it is truthful, and so you can hide that lie in a blanket of truth. It's like that special, what was that, talking box? Was it from Arabian, 1001 Arabian Nights? Or there's some Arabian story about like a wish-granting talking box? Oh boy, where am I pulling this from? From weird space in my memory, but there is some Arabic fairy tale where there's a box that will tell you all these truths. You know, a treasure hunter found the box, and the box told him how to find all these great treasures. And oh, he found one treasure, asked the box, where's another one? Oh, the box told him where another one was. Oh, this guy was becoming wealthy from treasure hunting. And then one day the box told him a lie. He asked one day, I think it was the 9th or 10th time, he asked the box for a treasure, and the box told him a location, a secret cave or something like that. And in the cave there is nothing but, I think it was like a hungry bear, or I think it was like a yeti, like a weird, I think it was like a yeti or something. And he just walked into a cave and got mauled to death. You know, and there was a diplomat who then found the box later, and he was like, oh, how can I make an alliance with this guy? And the box told him how to make an alliance with that guy. Oh, how can I bring peace to this land? Oh, the box told him the truthful way of how to deal with diplomacy to make peace in that land. Until, you know, I think he was being chased by an assassin. An assassin wanted to kill this diplomat. And he asked the box, how do I get away from this assassin? And the box lied to him finally. Sent him right into the arms of that assassin. So look out for talking boxes. 9 truths and a lie, right? 9 truths and a lie. They get you to trust them with 9 truths. And then they tell that one lie, which is the most important thing. It's like theosophy. It's 99% truth, and then that 1% of fucking nonsense that they will absolutely derail your life and turn you into an egomaniac. Such is life. Beware of such things. Oh, this is the one that wants to come out. Avarice. Greed. So here we have a broken vase with a bunch of coins falling out. Oof. Man, maybe you're dealing with someone who's been embezzling company funds and and you found out. Oh, Lord. That's wild. So the Queen of Swords in reverse and avarice. So again, if this is about you, if your intentions are greedy, you will find failure at this time. I think being generous and selfless at this time is going to be the key to success. I think if your intentions are for self-interest, there's just some bad energy about that right now. You got to be really careful. People are not going to trust you. People will find out, and your whole endeavor will be broken wide open. But that's just for some of you, hopefully not many. I'm getting the vibe that you're dealing with someone or something that's that has been found out in a serious way. You found someone's rotten intentions, and they spilled the beans, or you discovered the skeletons in their closet. You discovered the gold coins they've been skimming off the tops of the accounts and hiding in a vase in their kitchen or whatever. You know what I mean? You found someone sticking their hand in the cookie jar. And now you're faced with this situation of like, well, what the hell do I do with this? And that's a tough choice. Like yeah, that's a really tough choice. It's a tough decision. Like, what are the consequences? I think you have to just think really deeply about this. Like, do you narc? Do you rat? Do you let it go? Having the innocence of a child, I think that could go either way. You could have a child who like is a tattletale, or you could have a child who is just so innocent and just doesn't care and just thinks like, okay, if you want to be a thief, be a thief. That's your business. Like, you think you're gonna get away with it? Give it a try. Let's see what happens. Like, you might have some sort of option like that, and I couldn't tell you what the right answer is right now. It's a very neutral, open energy with this. But I think you've learned something that, like, someone didn't want you to learn, or you've gained a perspective. It might not be so serious like that. It might not be like a crime, or it might not be something so stark where a choice needs to be made. What it could be is that you've gained a perspective about something that is, forbidden, right? You see things in a way that they don't want you to see. There's a lot of knowledge in this world that some people don't want you to know. There's ways of viewing the world that some people don't want you to view them that way. Because you just won't be as cooperative or productive in their society. Like, this is an extreme example, but take someone who likes to, like, alter their consciousness, let's say, with the use of substances. Let's put it that way. And they really enjoy it. They just want to sit out in a field and eat shrooms, right? And that's what they want to do with their lives. Well, we've made this illegal in our culture. It is illegal to alter your consciousness, because you won't sit in an office building clacking away at a computer making some millionaire into a billionaire. You refuse to do it. Therefore, they've made it illegal. Or you won't, take out a mortgage from a bank to buy a house, and you're not a productive taxpayer. You don't have a job, so the government can't take taxes from you if you just want to sit outside in the fields and just enjoy your life in what modern society would call an unproductive way. A person like that doesn't fit into our society and doesn't make money for the powers that be, and so they have made altering your consciousness in these ways illegal, because it does not benefit them. So that's an extreme case, but this idea of seeing things from a different perspective that makes you not fit in anymore, that makes you not useful to others, is something that a lot of people don't like. When you start to see the world differently from everybody else starts to get pissed off at you. because they see you as not useful anymore, as not benefiting them anymore. And there oftentimes are consequences to this. If not legal consequences, there are social consequences. So perhaps you're starting to see the world in a different way, in a more enlightened way, and it's having some pretty severe social consequences. In which case, having the mind of the child is your best defense, because as they say, cuteness is the best defense. Nobody goes around killing kittens, people have no problem squashing cockroaches because they're ugly and creepy, according to the human sentiment. But kittens are cute as hell. No one goes around stepping on kittens. You know what I mean? Cuteness is an excellent defense mechanism. So having that innocent mind of a child, and just following divine law the way a young child does is going to get you through this situation. So I'm going to pull one last thing for you, Aries. Oh boy. Oh boy. The left-handed path. This is a cool token. Focus on it. Come on. I worked hard on these. So here we have, you can see the left line here is the biggest line. So we have the left, the middle, and the right-handed paths. And in this, the left-handed path is the one indicated. And I drew that sort of scythe, that Saturnian Grim Reaper scythe. Now the left-handed path is referring to the Kabbalah, the tree of life. The left-handed path of severity and strength and sternness. And many spiritual practitioners believe that the left-handed path is evil inherently. Now, on the sorcerer's path, where they are committing acts of evil and greed and so on, yeah, that is definitely the realm of the left-handed path, of trying to ascend the tree of life. Now, but it's not inherently evil, but you can essentially be evil up to a point and still ascend the tree of life up to a point. There are people today, going back to the scientists, who are attempting to climb the tree of life through the left-handed path, but not in a spiritual way. Like, you can be a left-handed ascetic, like a Shaivite, someone who worships God in the form of Shiva and practices really austere types of yoga. That's left-handed. Being very, very severe with yourself, breaking your habits in a very severe way, subjecting yourself to austerities in a difficult life for the sake of burning off karma and subduing and controlling your body and your temptations, your desires, your thoughts, and all of that. That's all left-handed stuff. It's not evil, it's just very severe. Then there's the other way. There are evil ways of ascending the tree of life, which is utilizing sort of non-human powers. Like, instead of expanding your consciousness through healthy organic means and disciplines, you will use the mineral kingdom by developing technologies that can do things for you. For example, the calculator. Another invention utilizing the silicon wafer microchip, but why bother learning mathematics and expanding the functions of your brain when you can just punch in some numbers onto a microchip and have it spit out the number for you? Why bother learning about political science and geopolitics and economics and military strategy and all this nuanced stuff to become an expert political theorist or advisor when you can just program a computer to run simulations for you, right? Why expand your mind if you don't have to? Why expand your capabilities as a human being if you can just offload your intelligence and your creativity to machines? It's so much easier, isn't it? Oh boy. Why try to gain spiritual immortality if I can just make a hard drive and a computer processor to which I can upload my consciousness, and then I can live forever in this machine, in this virtual world, or in the real world, but from the perspective of a machine that can live for maybe hundreds or even thousands of years, or maybe indefinitely. Why bother gaining spiritual immortality when I can just gain mechanical immortality? This is that energy of the left-handed sorcerers that we deal with in the modern civilization, where they genuinely are attempting to do these things. And I'm not saying these people are evil. A lot of these people are very good intentioned. They want to expand human experience. They want to expand what our society can do. They want to expand our capabilities, enhance our lifespans, cure diseases, right? These are very noble intentions. I'm not saying these people are evil, but we know what the road to hell is paved with, right? And The first step on the tree of life on the left-handed path is the sphere of Hod, represented by the sphere of Mercury. And this is an intellectual sphere where you can basically, it's also the realm of the gods, so to speak. And you can get lost in illusions when you start navigating this sphere. And it's the very first step up the left-handed path on the tree of life. It happens very, very early on in a person's awakening. And a person's spiritual awakening can begin with just basic scientific pursuits. It might not be overtly spiritual at all at the beginning. And you can get stuck right there in science, in the materialism, in modern materialistic science, and thinking that all the answers of all reality are going to be contained within the sphere of Hod, within this mercurial sphere of the intellect. And you can create technology and artwork in this sphere infinitely forever. This sphere has so many manifestations and so many illusions. It's like there's so much you can do, and it's the 8th sphere. Now, if some of you are familiar with Rudolf Steiner, that should ring an alarm bell. The 8th sphere, the realm that Ahriman, the spirit of materialism and darkness, materialism, that's a weird accent, the spirit of materialism and darkness rules the 8th sphere. And the 8th sphere can convince you that spirituality is not real. The soul, the spirit doesn't exist. The divine elements of life, the divine planes don't exist. You can very easily convince yourself of this, especially very, very, very smart people. People with very powerful intellects are capable of convincing themselves of falsehoods because their intellects are so powerful that they can use logic to persuade themselves of lies. And it's possible that you are encountering a person like this, or this energy, this phase in your life where you've realized this illusion, this 8th sphere illusion, particularly in regards to modern technology, that there is something seriously wrong with our world today, with how we view and use technology. While these technologies are novel and interesting and can be used to create beauty and to help humanity with our creativity and expand our awareness and our capabilities, we are at risk of atrophying our own abilities, because if we offload our thinking, our intellects, our creativity, our decision-making, and all these things to machines and computers, we become weaker and weaker the more we do that. We become dumber, we become less creative, we become less capable, we become just unhealthy when we have machines do everything for us, think for us, create for us, make decisions for us. This is not a good idea. Pretty soon, we're going to wind up like those characters in the movie WALL-E. It's like, pay attention to Pixar movies. They're pretty good. And you might be dealing with people who don't see this and you see this. Maybe you're just waking up to this idea. Maybe you've been exploring the 8th sphere. Maybe you've had a spiritual awakening through the intellect, and you've been lost there for a long time, years maybe. And you're finally like, wait a second. Modern science can describe things, but it can't explain things. Oh, wow, that's a fundamental shortcoming of science. Science can only describe something. It will never explain it. It can tell me how, but it won't ever tell me why. And you might be realizing, I need something more. And this whole thing just shattered. The whole 8th sphere just shattered, and you're ready to move on to the higher spheres and to different spheres and to learn more in different ways. And you are seeing the left-handed path for how difficult it is, because that's the first step on the left-handed path. When you do it in the good way, is exploring this sphere, the mercurial sphere, the 8th sphere, as much as you can, but then realizing, oh, that it just has one job to do, like all the other spheres, they all work together. That's not the answer, that's just one component. I need everything. It's like you can't make a car with a single wheel. You need the chassis and the engine and the combustion and the gasoline. You need all these parts to make a car. The 8th sphere, that's just an engine. There's nowhere to sit. There's no wheels to turn. It's like it's just one part. It's not the whole thing. I thought the engine was the whole freaking reality, and then you're realizing it's not. And so you're ready to move on in this illusion that the modern world has, that all of our problems will be solved through technology, that all of our problems will be solved through data science and big data, or the proper application of computer science, and that scientists should be the politicians of the next world order because scientists are the smartest, best people. Scientists know how to solve all the problems. Scientists should be the senators. Scientists should be the economists. Scientists should make all the decisions for us. Scientists should run the world because scientists know the truth of everything. This is the same mistake that Catholic Europe made in the medieval era, saying the priests and bishops should be the government. The priests and bishops should run the economy. The priests and bishops should do all of this because the priests and bishops know the answers to the mysteries of reality. The priests and bishops are the smartest, most qualified, wisest people. Therefore, let's give them ultimate power. And look what they did with it. You think the scientists are going to be any better than them? No, they're going to put microchips in your baby's brain and make little robot puppets out of all of us if they have their way, just to manage us more easily, to prevent crime and crap like that. They'll, road to hell is paved with the good intentions. Oh, we can solve crime by brainwashing you, with machines, that kind of stuff. Now, I know I'm rambling about this, but this sorcerer energy and these three things coming out on the sorcerer, this is like intense, serious stuff. And I think you're understanding this. You're either waking up to these realities, these nightmarish realities that unfortunately the modern world is filled with, or maybe you've known for a long time already, and you're going to just say, screw the illusion. I'm turning away from this. I'm moving on to the higher spheres. I'm moving out of the 8th sphere, moving out of this energy, this way of thinking, and I'm moving on to higher, more spiritual, divine spheres, which is like without falsehood. You can explore the 8th sphere all you want. Like I said, it's not evil, but you can create evil with it. But if you explore the 8th sphere with truthfulness, you eventually see that, and you move beyond it. You follow the natural and divine laws, and you will eventually be exhausted by the 8th sphere and realize, I have to move on. And I think you're moving on. And that's a beautiful thing. I experienced this in my own life. Everything I've been describing, this whole process, is something I went through as a teenager. This obsession with this mercurial energy, thinking it was how I was going to solve all the world's problems and so on and so forth. And then, as they say, with age comes wisdom, right? Well, with experience comes wisdom. And with the open-mindedness of a child comes wisdom. And just the innocence, the innocent mentality. Like, is this really good for everybody? What are we doing? If it's not good for everybody, then it's probably not good. So we should just change paths. Who cares? And just move on. It's very easy and simple and childish. It's like, I'm just not going to walk this path anymore because I don't think it's very good. And I'm going to walk this path now because it looks better and it's more in harmony with nature. And it just seems that people are happier and in more harmony with each other when they walk this path together. So maybe you're just making that decision finally, and there could have been something or someone that just was the straw that broke the camel's back. You saw some liar or some deceitful energy, some bad intentions, and you were like, you know what? I'm out. No more. Putting my foot down, changing gears, stepping on a different path. Screw this. And good for you. And it might be difficult, but without falsehood, you succeed. You will succeed. It might be difficult at first, but it gets easier. Trust me. It gets easier and easier as you go with it. So Aries, I think that's all the Oracle and I have for you today. If you made it through this ranty video, thank you so much. I always appreciate you hanging out with me. It's great to see you. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.